I'm Big Joe Blue about to sing me a song.
About a baseball team that can do no wrong.
I got Tim St. Clair and a mighty, mighty bat.
And Big Joey B with some real neat stats.
I said, let's
Let's
go, Stogies.
let's
Let's
go.
go, Stogies. Let's go.
Mm, let's go, Stogies. Let's go, Stogies. Go. All right.
Tim St. Clair is my guest tonight. Welcome to the Colorado Rockies team preview show. We didn't even rehearse that, folks. Tim and I are going to talk about baseball movies tonight. Our favorite movie is Long Gone, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some bad baseball movies. Tim and I are also big Mets fans. So we're going to share some Mets memories. We're going to get to that Colorado Rockies roster reveal tonight. And then if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to type them out. We'll get to them at the end of the show. But Tim is here. We're going to talk Long Gone. We were talking before the show how HBO pretty much played this movie like every day the summer that it came out. I have it on VHS with, I think it's Police Academy and Moving, and then Long Gone. Tim has it with.
I have it, and I think my brother's watching, so he'll chime in if I'm wrong. But I think it's Fletch, Short Circuit, and Long Gone. Like three of the most iconic '80s movies. And there's the.
Yeah, and I have that too. Yep.
And look on the if you can see, it's Long Gone.
Oh, okay. Nice. So, all right, when you said that before, I thought I misunderstood. I thought the G was backwards.
I thought it was too until I looked a little closer. But yeah, it's Gong, like the Gong Show.
I'm going to look at my copy later.
Yeah.
And folks, if you're watching and you've never heard of this movie, you can watch it for free on YouTube. There's it's not a pirated copy.
Nope.
I don't know, like it's been up there for like 5 years. I might even throw it up on the click page tonight. You got to check out this movie. It's basically about a minor league team in. They're based in Alabama, correct? Or is it Florida?
It's Florida, but probably up near the Panhandle.
And I know the team, their main rival in the movie, I believe is Alabama, but it's the Tampico Stogies, set in what, the
50s, yeah.
early 50s. William Peterson from CSI.
Yep. Virginia Madsen is
Virginia
Dixie.
Madsen from Sideways.
Yeah.
Dermot Mulroney from other Dermot Mulroney things.
And I was telling this movie to my wife the other day, and I referred to him as Dylan McDermott, and she kept telling me I was wrong. So Dermot Mulroney, Dylan McDermott.
There was actually an SNL sketch years ago where there was a game show and they had to try to guess which one. I think the name of the game show was, is this Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney? And they had both of them come out and they didn't know. They were like, no, I think I'm Dermot.
Yeah, there you go. Bill Murray's brother is in Long Gone. No, not Brian Doyle. The one who was in One Crazy Summer who was stuck under the chair with the guy eating the chili.
Okay.
He played the player who became the pastor and married everyone.
That's
who had the glasses. Yeah, he's one of the Murrays. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Now I gotta see. I've seen it 100 times, but I gotta see.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, he's always polishing his glasses. That's what in every
Yeah.
scene. Yeah. Yep.
So if you're watching tonight, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to post it. I want everyone to watch this movie. This is our favorite movie, and Tim and I have actually talked about possibly having a watch party where
Yeah. There
we
you go.
can't show it,
Yeah.
but I'll watch it. Tim will watch it. You guys can watch us watch it.
There you go.
Would that be a fun night, Tim?
That fun for us. I don't know for anyone else.
All right, we're gonna put a poll up later.
Yeah.
If you want to watch Tim and
Us
I
watch a movie.
it'll be like MST3K, but for baseball.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. Now, what other movies? Obviously, we love Long Gone.
Yep.
What are some of your other favorites that you like?
Well, I mean, there's the classics. What do you got? The original Bad News Bears, Bull Durham. But I have a thing about Bull Durham. The minute he gets called, like once he gets called up to the bigs, it stops being a good movie. I'm sorry for anyone out there watching. Like once they have the fight in the pool hall, at that point, then it's boring because it's just him eating cereal with Susan Sarandon, and doing her nails, But I love Bull Durham. Field of Dreams is great, as a dad, we were playing catch with your own father and all that kind of stuff. But Major League, you can't forget about Major League. Major League 2. I don't know. What else do you got?
Well, I want to I have a quick Major League story.
Okay.
What year was that movie shot? 88, 89?
Something like 88. It came out in 89.
89. All right. So
Yeah.
probably the summer of 88. My mom gave me the option, and my friends have heard this a million times, but a lot of people haven't heard this. My mom gave me the option to either go see or be part of the movie.
That's right. They filmed in Milwaukee.
Throw batting practice to me because it was 102 that day.
Okay.
So I know what my mom was thinking. She didn't want to sit in the bleachers for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So her thinking was, I know he's going to want to pitch batting practice to him. So we went to Brown Deer Park. She threw batting practice to me for about 20 minutes. And I still think that was the greatest thing ever to give me that option. I totally forgot about the movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't until a friend had me over for a sleepover, like the next summer or maybe the summer after that, where I finally got to see it. And I found out later which scene I was supposed to be a part of. It was early in the season when they were still drawing 1,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, you would have been
those nights.
Nice.
But I'll never forget that because my mom throwing batting practice was like a bigger thrill than any movie.
Of course.
I could be in.
Of course.
Let me ask you this: I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but a lot of people seem to want to knock Field of Dreams, and I love Field of Dreams.
I can see that. I can see the people knocking it, but I think it's the nostalgia part about it is wonderful. It's just, I don't know how you can watch the movie and not just feel good. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I think it's more of a feel-good movie than it is a baseball movie. There's baseball in it, but there's more, more than that.
That's a good point because I have friends that will tell me that they don't want to watch Rocky because they don't like boxing. And I tell them that Rocky is not a boxing movie. It's just the main character does that for a living. But
Exactly.
It's a love story. And I think Field of Dreams is a love story, a different kind of love story.
Yeah.
But I love Field of Dreams. I don't put it up in the same echelon as Long Gone and Durham. But
No.
It's right up there.
Yeah, of course.
Now, Tim, you were telling me, I wasn't even aware of this, that there is a third Major League movie?
Yeah. The title is an oxymoron because it's called Major League Back to the Minors. So right there, it's like, what is it? Is it Major League? Is it minor league? But I watched it in the spring for the first time. I don't think I've ever seen it before, and I think it can't be more than an hour and 15 minutes, and it just doesn't make any sense. Bob Uecker, it's based about the Twins. But Bob Uecker is the broadcaster. Roger Dorn, I believe, Corbin Burnson's the general manager. I think that's the connection. Maybe he brought him in. I don't remember if there was a backstory part to it. They didn't have a prequel or anything like that. But then, it's about his minor league team, but it's good. It has its funny parts, but then, it just doesn't make any sense. Joe Boo shows up out of nowhere. They need a catcher, and Rube from Major League 2 is the catcher because he couldn't throw the ball down the second base anymore. They bring in Serrano, he shows up, and then they're driving in the buses, and Tanaka from Major League Two is working at I don't know if it's a car wash or a mini golf place, or maybe a car wash mini golf place in one. I don't remember. And the whole movie is centered around a grudge match between Jefferson Darcy from Married with Children and the lead character from Quantum Leap, Scott Bakula, right?
Yeah.
And they had a rivalry, and they played an exhibition game at the end in the Metrodome for keeps, like for each other's job, I believe, if that's what it was. It was very odd,
I'm going to have to check this out. And we were talking earlier how we both love Bad News Bears, but I think we both agreed that the second one was actually the best of the movies.
I like the second one. I like the second one simply that Carmen, my brother and I were going back and forth last week about how much we can't stand Carmen Ronzoni or whatever. He's was that Scott Baio's brother? Cousin. And he's just like, he's just. I picture him wearing like a 8-ball jacket that Putty wore in Seinfeld, and pitching, and he just was like, finally we're like, dude, don't be Louis Tiant, just pitch the ball. Like, it's just, but that's a good movie. But I said this to you earlier. There was one song in the entire movie. The same music is being played every time there's a musical backdrop.
And I might just sing that later because I still know that song.
Yeah, I don't know the song, so that's a solo. That's a solo shout.
It's called "Life Is Looking Good." I'm not. I'll sing that at another time. But it's terrible. And then we were talking about how there actually is a third Bad News Bears movie where they go to Japan. And it's maybe it is the worst baseball movie I've ever seen, but it might be the worst movie I've ever seen. There's only like 10 minutes of actual baseball footage in it. Yeah. And it's just awful.
I think we forgot one of my favorite movies, The Natural. I mean, I love it. I love The Natural. And have you ever read the book, The Natural, the novel?
So I read it as a teenager, and then that summer I found it on Kindle Unlimited for free, so I reread it.
Yeah. I think the book is better than the movie, but I love the movie, and when I think the Mets minor league team was in Buffalo for a little while, and it was the same stadium, they made upgrades to it, obviously, but, I'm picturing Wilford Brimley and Robert Redford and Bump Bailey crashing through the wall where, the Mets, minor leaguers are playing or the Blue Jays were playing last year.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Mets, you and I are both huge Mets fans. When we did our Mets show back on the 9th, we had Mark and David on, and we talked about our 1986 memories. Yep. Tell me what you were thinking. Tell me about Game 6. Okay. And then just the ultimate euphoric moment of winning it 2 nights later on Monday night.
I was it was a Saturday. Game 6 was a Saturday, and I was just turned 12. So my parents let us. We were going to sleep in the living room, watch the game. But when they went down, when Dave Henderson hit that home run, and they were down 2, and then I forget who led off with an out, and then Hernandez made it 2 outs, nobody on. I had my pillow, my blanket, sleeping bag. I don't remember seeing live Mookie Wilson's ground ball because I had my head. Well, actually, I had my head in my pillow and I was praying. What do 12-year-olds pray about? I was praying that the Mets would somehow win, and Gary Carter's single, and then Kevin Mitchell's single, and then Ray Knight's, all this stuff. And then what people forget, and I say this, and I'm defending the Mets all the time because I'm in a family of Yankee fans. Living in New Jersey, Yankee fans everywhere. Oh, Buckner lost that. Everyone forgets the game was tied, and where it was standing, I think Mookie would have beat it out anyway. But that was just, I couldn't fall asleep. And this was in '86. There was no ESPN to watch, over all the replays or anything. And then Monday night, because it was raining on Sunday, and then Monday, again, they fell down behind, and then Ray Knight hit a home run. Darryl Strawberry, who's my guy, I got his picture right up there.
Yep.
Right, he hit that home run, and all of a sudden it was like this weight was lifted. And I was in 7th grade, and I thought it was going to be forever. Mets were going to win 15 championships with this team. So it's been a long time since 7th grade.
And, the thing about Buckner is that a lot of people forget just in that game alone, Jim Rice had 2 base running mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't score from second on a single.
Yep.
And then I think earlier in the game, he was on first base, and I think it was Dwight Evans hit a double, and they tried to score him on that, and he was out by like 30 feet.
Yeah. Well, he was slow by then,
Yeah.
But
I mean, there were so many other things you can look at.
Yeah.
Fastball.
Well, I mean, I read some crazy stat where the Mets were down to their first strike 25 times or something like that in that 10th inning, and they still they scored 3 runs when they were down to their last strike.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. And then like you said, they got rained out Sunday night, which basically bumped Dennis Boyd. He was supposed to pitch Game 7.
Yeah.
So then they come back with Hurst, who was just completely lights out in that championship series. He pitches Game 7. The Red Sox lead 3-0 heading into the 6th.
They take him out.
Hernandez ties it. The Knight homer, the Strawberry homer. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever noticed this, and I forget where I read this, but Clemens pitched Game 6 for the Red Sox. And he never shaves. And even when he played with the Yankees, you always noticed he was always clean, scruff for his starts. He comes out of the game. They take the lead. All of a sudden, the camera goes on him in the dugout. He's clean shaven because he wanted to look good. He wanted to look good for the post-game interviews. He was clean shaven. It was had a towel around his neck and everything. And I remember all the shots of the Red Sox celebrating in the dugout. And my head was in my pillow, and I'm like, I didn't want to see this. And now that I read back at things, and I'm like, well, there he is. There's Roger Clemens for you.
Yep.
So.
And then just to piggyback on what you had said about, you thought this was going to be the norm and that they were going to be doing it. I'm still heartbroken that they didn't do it in '88.
Yeah.
I actually think the '85 team was better than the '86 team.
Joey, you and I say that all the time, and I said this. The 1985 Mets season might have been my favorite season to follow. I was 10 years old, just getting into really collecting baseball cards and everything, and watching the news, the sports every day, because the Yankees were really good. They won 98 games, and the Mets won 98 games, and whether we're going to have a Subway Series, Warner Wolf, all these guys talking about it was just in your brain, and I love that team. That I think was a better team than the '86 team. Much like I think the '99 Mets team was better than the 2000 Mets team that went to the World Series.
Yeah.
But I know, just
Yeah, that '99 team was so fun. I loved everything about that. Piazza, the bullpen. Bobby Valentine's still my favorite manager ever.
Yep.
For any team, the Brewers had a chance to hire him. 2008, and they hired Ken Mata.
Oh, there you go. Another Oakland A's bench coach thing.
Outside of that '80s, obviously we weren't around for the '69 team. Outside of that '86 team, what other memories do you hold closest to you as far as being Mets?
Well, I mean, obviously, Darryl Strawberry, his at-bats were must-see TV, going through. As I got older, I was in Shea Stadium in the 2000 playoffs when Agbayani hit a walk-off home run against the Giants in the 13th inning, which up until being in the World Series, at the World Series game a couple years ago, was my biggest baseball thrill. But, watching Dwight Gooden pitch just any night, it was wonderful. There were a couple things that hurt, I remember where I was when they fired Davy Johnson. I was at a Boy Scout picnic, and I got the news that he was fired. So there's a lot of almost, if that's a thing, like this close,
Yeah.
So.
So we're going to get to. I know we have a number of questions and comments. We're going to get to those shortly here. Tim's going to stick around. We're going to start unveiling the Rockies roster for 2021. Before we actually get to the roster, we're going to look at some of the highlights for their schedule. They're going to open the season on the road. They're going to be at Detroit on Friday, March 26th. On Memorial Day, they're going to be hosting the Giants on May 31st. 4th of July at Montreal. On Labor Day, they're going to be back home hosting the Dodgers. And the Rockies finish their season September 26th, Sunday afternoon against the Oakland A's. But this is what their starting lineup is going to look like. Manager Clinton Hurdle gave me the lineup this morning. This is what they're going to go with on day one. So you're going to see it on the bottom of your screen here. Leading off, playing center field, Charlie Blackmon. He's my current favorite player in the major leagues that's not a Met.
There you go.
Batting
good
second,
choice.
third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting third will be first baseman Todd Helton. Batting fourth will be right fielder Larry Walker. Batting fifth, left fielder Matt Holliday. Batting sixth, second baseman TJ LeMahieu. Batting seventh, shortstop Trevor Story. Batting eighth, pitcher Chris Iannetta. And this year's starting pitcher on opening day is going to be Ruth Foster. A big get for the Rockies. The Rockies were in the bottom third for ERA last year. So to bring in one of the greatest Negro League pitchers of all time to be your ace, I think is a huge get for the Rockies. Speaking of pitching, so Ruth Foster is going to go game one against the Tigers. The Saturday starter is going to be German Marquez. Sunday starter is going to be Ubaldo Jimenez, who actually no-hit the eighth last year. And then against the Pirates, it's going to be Mike Hampton and then John Gray. And then the Rockies have Luis Chastain and Aaron Cook, kind of waiting in the wings if one of these starters were to go down. Chastain really struggled last year. He probably would have been the five had he not struggled at the end of last year. The bullpen is going to be anchored to start the season by Taylor Buchholz, no relation. Daniel Bard, Bruce Ruffin,
Former Philly.
Wade Davis, Brian Fuentes, and Glendon Rush, former Met, former Brewer.
There's a couple former Mets on this team.
Yeah, Buchholz actually pitched for the Mets for
Yep.
a little bit of a time. And then rounding out the roster, and again, just because these guys aren't starting on opening day doesn't mean they're not going to keep playing time. We've got Charles Johnson, Jason Giambi, Clint Barnes, Vinny Castilla, Troy Tulowitzki, Dante Bichette, Carlos Gonzalez, and Gerardo Parra. Tim, are there any obvious players that I missed here?
Well, I mean, off the air, I asked you about Danny Murphy, but he's on another team. I'm trying to think, Vinny Castilla had some good seasons with who? Andres Galarraga, the big cat.
So one of the things, and I always mention this on each show, how hard it is to determine
to narrow it down.
Galarraga is actually on the Montreal team.
Oh, that makes sense. All right.
But he could have very easily been a Rocky.
Yeah. Or a Cardinal.
Yeah, or a Cardinal. But
yeah.
I wanted to make sure, since Montreal hasn't had anyone that we've been able to add there in the last 15 years, I wanted to make sure that they had as many of their
they're homegrown guys. I was going to ask you about Montreal. Because I know the Durham team you put together to make it 32. Montreal. So are players who played for the Expos they naturally like? Is Tim Raines again? I didn't see the Montreal. Tim Raines, Tim Wallach, those kind of guys.
So the Montreal show that we're going to do is
Okay. Spoiler alert.
everything, but I will tell you that most of the players on that team are the players you think about. So,
Okay.
Dawson, Raines,
Dennis Martinez.
There
you go.
Rogers. But because them and Durham are the only two teams that aren't going to have players that you can add on a regular basis, you're going to see some current Major League players
Nice.
shooting up for Montreal in 2021. So we'll get to those on Monday.
Very cool.
But Durham and Montreal, and then there's always going to be one or two players that, because the way free agency is, like when Trevor Bauer took as long as he could sign, I just decided I'm going to make him a free agent.
And you put him on Durham, right?
I actually put him on Seattle.
Okay, all right.
What I did was I took the bottom 8 teams last year in pitching, and then I did a random shuffles. I didn't like choose Seattle.
Yeah,
What I
gotcha.
did was I chose a random number generator, and whichever team was chosen 3 times first
Gotcha.
got them. Just to be fair, so we're going to do that next year with Cy Young.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And I left them out on purpose so that we're always adding someone of note
Yeah.
to kind of keep it interesting.
What about Walt Weiss? He was like their first shortstop, right?
So Walt Weiss was actually on. So last year's rosters were kind of unbalanced. So some teams had like 3 shortstops, some had 1. And it turns out that Weiss was one of 3 shortstops on the Oakland roster last year. And he didn't make the roster this year, but it doesn't mean that we
haven't seen him. Gotcha.
Let's get to. So we've got some comments here, and I just want to point out. When Tim and I were doing the pregame, if you will, where we kind of test things out, a couple of people, Tim, were mentioning they hear an echo with me. And I don't know why that is. I know we tested it earlier. It was really loud, actually, a half hour ago. Remember, Tim, when it was...
Yeah, when we were trying it out, it was really
so a
loud.
couple of people were mentioning that there was an echo. I don't know. I tried the troubleshooting on my end. I hope it's not too bad. I hope it doesn't seem like we've lost any viewers or anything. What else do we have here? Let's see. So Jamie said I was echoing. I'm going to actually throw these up right on the screen here. Based on Paul Hempel's novel of the same name, sort of an autobiographical version of his minor league experiences. So is that
the Long Gone? There's a book, and I think I used to own it, but I was looking for it for tonight and I couldn't find it. So I thought I maybe I donated it to my library. So I went to the library last week and it wasn't in. So I don't know what happened to it, but yeah.
I have to find that because I wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah, some of the we have I believe Stud Cantrell and there's a light hitting infielder, Jamie Dahl Weeks, and a black catcher. So it's based on the same characters.
That's really cool. I'm going to check it out tonight. Jamie mentions love of the game. Kelly Preston is smoking hot in that movie restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, she's dead?
Yeah, she died a couple months ago.
I didn't know that.
You were shuffling rosters, I guess. I don't know.
She's married to
John Travolta. Yeah, she had cancer.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Jamie Howell breaking news tonight.
There you go.
I didn't know.
Yeah, Love of the Game is a good. It's like the third of the Costner trilogy of baseball movies.
Is that the one where he throws the perfect game as a tiger?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yep.
Someone says, I've heard people complain about Shoeless Joe hitting right instead of left in Field of Dreams. Also, he's a ghost, and you're worried about him batting right-handed.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the funniest line was like when Moonlight Graham gets up and he's like he threw at his head, then he winked at him. He's like, "Why'd you throw at him? No winking, no winking, kid." He's like that, that big burly catcher. So, But yeah, I heard a lot about that. Same thing with in The Natural with the whammer was supposed to be Babe Ruth, and he was lefty, I think, but people complained about that as well.
I wonder how many people that have read Shula's show or have seen Field of Dreams don't realize that Moonlight Graham is an actual was an actual major leaguer. So that actually happened. I actually had him on the Giants roster last year. And
Did you get him in for one inning? One inning he gets in for?
So what I did was I announced that morning that like Kevin Mitchell or Jeffrey Leonard had an injury and they were going to activate Moonlight Graham. I had him pinch hit in the 6th inning, thinking like, all right, we're gonna get him that final. We're gonna get him that, right? He ends up getting a sac fly just within the inning. So I kept him in, and then in the 8th inning, he had an RBI ground out. So he actually had 2 RBIs.
There you go, 2 RBIs. 0 for 1 with 2 RBIs. You can, that's good.
Someone mentioned we mentioned the natural. Yes, and Bang Through Slowly. Is that the De Niro one?
I think no. That's
which one am I thinking had Robert De Niro like in the early 70s?
It might be that because I've never seen that movie, but I've heard it's a wonderful baseball movie. But I've never.
For the Love of the Game.
Yep.
So someone mentioned Hampton could hit. So if you're watching or if you're new, there is no DH in Utopian, so pitchers can rake here.
Yep. Hey, Mike Hampton, for us Met fans, we got the Mets got David Wright because of Mike Hampton signing with Colorado.
That's
the year he signed, they got an extra draft pick, and it became David Wright.
That's right. And then we have Jamie said the Battered Bastards of Baseball.
That is awesome. Have you ever seen that, Joey?
He asked me last night, and I haven't.
It's on Netflix. It's so good. Baseball movies are great, but a lot we forgot about 42. With the Black Panther. But I love baseball movies, but sometimes they get unbelievable. Like they're too. Oh, you knew this was going to happen, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for a baseball documentary, and the Bastards of Baseball is awesome. It is so good. I've watched it. It's on Netflix. I have a student teacher, and one day there was PSAT testing going on, and we had nothing. Like we weren't given an assignment, so we had an hour and a half of free time. So we just put that on the projector and we watched. And he's a baseball player too, so we watched this, and it was wonderful.
No, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's dad owned the Portland, whatever their team name was, and Kurt Russell actually played a season or 2 with the team. Like it was in the 70s. It was great. It's a great documentary.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Tim, we're gonna do this Long Gone watch party at some point. Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just gonna find out who wants to join us because I think it would be great theater.
Yeah.
Basically, just going to be, again, if you're just tuning in now, you're going to be watching Tim and I watch TV.
At some point.
All right. Well, I want to thank Tim St. Clair for joining me tonight, fellow Met fan, brother of Mets, if you will. Join me tomorrow when Justin Pfeffer, who, if I'm getting the story correct, I'm sure he'll correct me tomorrow, I was in his house the day his mom went into labor. In March of '82, because his older brother was my best friend. We were playing Atari, probably bowling, and I think his dad said he's got to get out of here. And then Justin came into the world, but I've got a great story to share with Justin tomorrow. So again, I want to thank Tim for being with us tonight. I want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock for the Minnesota Twins. And everyone have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Joey, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. I hope to do it again later on this year.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have you on a ton.
All right.
And anyone else watching tonight, if you want to be on a future broadcast, we're going to be doing shows through the end of October. So just let me know. We'll be doing shows like this, roundtable discussion, big trivia tournament this summer. So just let me know, and we'll have you on.
All right. Cool.
All right. Good night, guys.
Take care. Thank you.